It's time for Dodger Baseball.
What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. I'm your host, Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. Thanks for rocking with us after the Dodgers. They lose by a final score of 7-1 to the San Diego Padres. They're still 8-3 against the Padres this season, but it's the first time the Dodgers have lost 3 in a row since basically almost 3 months ago to the San Francisco Giants. It was the first time all season they lost by more than 5 runs, so it was an ugly loss by the Dodgers. Of course, Trey Turner, he sat tonight. He had started the Dodgers' first 130 games of the season, but he had been struggling of late, going 1 for his last 12 with a stolen base and a walk and 2 strikeouts over his last 3 games, so he was due for a breather. But this team offensively, they struggled all night long. Dustin May's command was off. Still was filthy at times, but it was a rough night for Dustin May. He just did not have it on the mound from a command standpoint. Tomorrow the Dodgers have Julio Urias going. He's been fantastic of late. We're going to talk about Blake Trinan, who was activated, and that's big for LA. But yeah, give me all your thoughts and comments about tonight's loss by the Dodgers. Are you fearing a little September swoon? To me, the way I look at it is, hey, this Dodger team, if you look at them right now, 90-41, still on pace to win over 100 at 111 games at this point. They'll smash the franchise record. And I think you don't want to peak too early if you're the Dodgers. Just look at what happened to the New York Yankees. And yes, the offense, they were putrid again tonight. Tonight, the Dodgers, they ended up going 4 for 31 on the night. They were dominated by Darvish. They struck out 11 times tonight, 9 by Yu Darvish. They had no answer. And if you look at this team, 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. They left 8 men on base. They're like 5 for their last 37 with runners on base. They've lost 3 of their they've lost 3 in a row. They're 3 in their last 7 games. They've gone 3-4. So yeah, this team definitely looks like they need a spark. We'll talk about some of the drama that unfolded. You had 4 hit by pitches combined today. Was Yu Darvish's intentional? He's always saying my bad, but the last one was a fastball. But give me all your thoughts and comments about tonight's loss for the Dodgers. Do you fear a September swoon? Do you think that this team could have a big losing streak in them? Look, let's just not forget, before you want to act like the sky is falling or anything like that, the Doomsday Dodgers, look, let's remember that in 2017, this team went 1-16 at one point. They lost 16 of 17 games. They lost 11 in a row. So here we go. Back to this comment section, guys. And also, I'm looking for that comment of the night. If I get the comments of the night, you're going to see one of these.
Fire take.
That's for a fire take. If you bring that fire take, you're going to see that. For comment of the night, you're going to see one of these.
You win.
And look, yes, your wins happen, losses happen. Baseball is going to be baseball. But hey, there's no reason to fret, guys. Just wash off this loss and wash it down with a crisp and refreshing Jim Beam Highball Seltzer. Let's crush one right now together, guys. But here we go. We need Trey starting. That's from Dekiel Queen 99 over on YouTube. Good time for his slump. Then get them on their toes for October from Nance H over on YouTube. By the way, if you're new to the show, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you really want to support the channel, smash that like button. Neil Casimoto gonna get swept if they keep playing like this week. I still feel good about the Dodgers in this series. Look, Julio Urias, you know I call him the Urias. He's been fantastic. If you look at his ERA in the month of August, he had a .90 ERA, allowed just 3 runs in 5 innings, and he's been fantastic for the Dodgers. So he's a great stopper. He's going against Sean Manaea. Manaea really has had a rough go of it for the San Diego Padres. Then on Sunday, you have Clevenger versus Heaney in that matchup. And also, let's not forget, the Dodgers this year playing on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. They've won all 3 games. And here's a little plug. I did an interview today with ESPN MLB insider Aldin Gonzalez, and we talked about a lot of topics you're going to want to listen. It's going to be about Shohei Ohtani. Will the Angels move him in the offseason? About Trey Turner possibly re-signing with the Dodgers. If the Dodgers aren't able to re-sign Trey Turner, will they pivot to one of the other premium shortstops that will be available this offseason? So I'm going to be dropping that on the channel tomorrow morning. Be on the lookout for that. But let's get to some of your fire takes. Here we go. We got Jamie Lannister. JT is the only one who showed up today. Yeah, I think Justin Turner, he had a pretty nice game. And, yeah, that was one of the only opportunities. He ends up going 2 for 4, does JT, had those 2 doubles. So, yeah, you love to see him continue to produce. And he was really one of the only bright spots early in the game when the Dodgers had an opportunity in the bottom of the 4th inning at a 2-out double by Dustin Turner. And then Joey Gallo, Joey, he ends up looking at a slider on the black on the 9th pitch of the at-bat for the final out. So Joey Gallo unable to come through. Not too many opportunities for the Dodgers tonight. They got the leadoff single by Max Muncy there in the 2nd, and then a 2-out walk by Taylor. But then Cody Bellinger, he strikes out swinging. So it was another rough performance by Cody Bellinger. 0 for 4 tonight with 3 strikeouts, and his struggles continue to pile up. Yes, I am a believer. Yes, I'm not going to sell all my stock because we saw him struggle last season, only to see him come through when it mattered most in the postseason. But, I bring my facts to the fight, and the numbers don't lie. A 671 OPS, hitting a 192 for the month of August, sub-Mendoza line, and the strikeouts are piling up. The at-bat quality isn't there. The rhythm, the timing, you're seeing him get dominated by fastballs up and in, struggle with breaking balls low and away. And, yeah, there's just not a lot of confidence at the plate from Cody Bellinger. And, yes, I'll stick with him as far as give him a chance to compete and produce this year, especially when you consider the fact that he's one of the better defensive center fielders in the game. But, look, I'm just concerned about his future as far as what kind of player is he? Because, look, the MVP belly days, they're in the past. I mean, that guy is never coming back, and really that was a 3.5-month player. It wasn't like it was the entire 2019 season, but he has a sub-700 OPS since the second half of the 2019 season. He's been consistently bad at the plate, and I just still want to know this question. I haven't got an answer, but why has he not gone back to the stance and the setup where he had the lower hands, where he had his feet more spread apart? He put himself in a better position to make contact in the 2021 postseason. Why did he go all the way back to the stance that he was using when he was struggling so mightily with the parallel bat? He was so upright, not a lot of movement in his lower body. I just don't get it because he is so late on fastballs. And it's just, I just don't understand why he hasn't gone back to a stance that he was having success with. I just don't understand it. And look, I know that there's a lot of talk out there that he's a little stubborn when it comes to how he receives tips and coaching, and you've seen that in an article by The Athletic from Fabian Ardaya where he's not as receptive to coaching from the hitting coaches. So I just wonder what's going on there. But here, back to the comment section. Eric, we got a classy San Diego fan. G, good game. Shake your hand. That's from Eric, the Padres fan. Hey, man, I appreciate you rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show, but why aren't you at the parade? Come on, Gaslamp is going down right now. There's a parade. People are dancing in the street after you get that dub. No, I'm just messing with you. But, yeah, part of my interview with Alden Gonzalez today, we talked about how the Padres could possibly be dangerous in the wild card series against the Braves and possibly in the postseason. But here we go. We were due for a slump. That's from Jonathan Nelson over on YouTube. Mario Elias. They just don't have the killer instinct to get the job done. Look, I disagree with that because this team, 36 comeback wins on the season. You've seen the grit from this team all year, the never say die attitude. This Dodger team is never out of it, so I disagree with that. They have shown killer instinct. Look, you don't put yourself in a position where you're on pace to win 111 games, and we're in the early month. We're in the month of September here, and this Dodger team is still on pace to make franchise history. And just a few weeks ago, we were asking the question, could this team make a run at the all-time record that was set by the 1906 Cubs, who won 116 games, and the 2001 Mariners? So let's not forget how successful this team has been this season. But thanks for coming on, DMAC Moose 1032. Look, I've done the post-game show in some of the worst losses ever. Just Game 5 of the 2019 NLDS against the Nationals. We could talk about Game 4 of the 2020 World Series. Look, to me, this is my therapy, talking to you guys, and I think at the end of any loss, no matter how we lose, or I don't say we, I'm not a big, hey, we guy in reference to your team, because last time I checked, I don't play for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't get to wear that wedding gown white uniform with the beautiful red numbers and the perfect script. I don't get to wear that, so I'm not going to say we, but really this helps me get through the losses. But here we go. Hopefully they'll be pissed off tomorrow. I like that. Dolphin Flipper 45. I like me a mad win. So there you go. Got an early contender for comment of the night. That is a fire take coming from Dolphin Flipper 45.
Fire take.
Craig Osterberg, Dodgers had jet lag. That's from Craig Osterberg. Yeah, you talk about the travel schedule. Joe Davis started to mention it there at the end. And I don't want to say it's an excuse, but I always say I don't make excuses. I give explanations. And yes, there was some travel that was tough. But have you seen the planes these guys fly in? Have you seen the hotels these guys stay at? I'm not buying that as an excuse. You guys are professionals. Look, man, when I drive to Pasadena, I stay in 1 hour traffic. Man, I can pretty much park my car and run laps around my car. That's how much traffic there is. You don't see me complaining. Okay, so I'm not buying that one. I do think when you consider you got Heath Hembree coming out in this game, and you got Dustin May that's still trying to get all the way back from, look, he had Tommy John surgery over 15 months ago, and he's still trying to work his way back. And tonight, the command was the problem with Dustin May. He ends up going 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 6 earned runs, 5 walks, 5 punch-outs, allowed 2 home runs, hit 2 batters, and really the issue was really that two-seam fastball. Both of the home runs came off that two-seam fastball, the one to Manny Machado, the one to Brandon Drury. What did those two pitches have in common? They were both two-seamers. They were both sinkers that really caught too much of the plate. And then you can talk about, too, the plate discipline by the Padres have to tip your cap a little bit, too. It was really confounding of how they were just laying off some of these two-seam fastballs on the black and really just laying off those pitches and drawing those walks. So, yeah, you got to give them some credit. They had a nice plan against Dustin May. They were also aggressive at times, so I thought they did a nice job against him. And then also, let's not forget that, a 4-run lead, that's not insurmountable when you consider the fact that this is one of the best offenses. They are the best offense. They're the most productive offense in baseball, but they're averaging, in their last 7 games, they're averaging just over 2 runs per game. In their last 5 games, 2.2 runs per game. So the offense that has led Major League Baseball with 5.35 runs per game during the stretch in August, averaging over 6 runs per game. Look, it's gotten hot in L.A., but this Dodger team has cooled off at the plate. They were hotter than the devil's armpit. Now they're colder than a polar bear's toenail. And I just still think, like you said, I think the big takeaway here is let's not think this is some September swoon. I don't see an 11-game losing streak coming for this Dodger team, but this team does need a spark, and I was almost hoping for a little benches clearing brawl after Yu Darvish was hit Chris Taylor, and hey, maybe you go out then to, just kind of send a message, hey, we're the Dodgers, not going to come in here, and yes, just because you say my bad after you hit someone doesn't mean that it wasn't intentional. I know Yu Darvish, he's a great guy, and he's very apologetic. I'm not saying it necessarily was, but hey, it was very convenient at the time. But here we go. We got May suck tonight. That's from Mario Ellis over on Facebook. Gary Webb, besides JT, the whole team was trash. Neil, let's go down here. We got Craig, that's a good point. He did just come back from injury. Man, that was bad from Jonathan over on Facebook. Dodgers need an off day from Eric Flores over on YouTube. Jonathan Nelson over on YouTube. May looks good. Location will come. Yeah, Jonathan Nelson, that's a nice Michelada half full take there. We'll talk about Dustin May's outing. Top of the first, he gets Profar to fly out for the first out. Then he walks Soto on 5 pitches, and then Bell flies out to first base. Bell flies out on the first pitch for the second out, and then on a 1-2 pitch, 5th pitch of the at-bat, May gets Cronenworth looking at strike 3 to end the inning. So I thought that curveball was impressive when he was locating it at times. He was throwing it for strikes, but 18 pitches there in that first inning, and you saw the command struggles early on. But here we go, back into the comment section. Neil, Darvish hit Smith on purpose. Dodgers needed to retaliate. Where is Stripling when you need him? Neil, yeah, I thought it was going to be one of those situations with Max Muncy and Verdugo and Kershaw where they're jumping over that railing there. They're looking like reservoir dogs, and they're saying, hey, Padres, you're not going to come into Dodger Stadium and throw at our should-have-been all-star catcher or any of our players. And I think that, hey, why not? It's baseball. Boys will be boys. Let's go have some fun. Let's send a message. And, look, I think who knows, like, it's not always the game itself when you get retaliation. I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that, but baseball does have a way of policing itself, and I think in that one it was very convenient. Alberto has good control. Craig Osterberg over on YouTube. That's a fire take.
Fire take.
And that's a fire take, and the reason for that is the problem with that take is the fact that you almost feel at this point that Hanser Alberto is better as a pitcher than he is as a batter. I mean, you look at Hanser Alberto, he set the record with 7 pitching appearances by a non-pitcher in one season, and yes, that is impressive. Yes, you can go out there and throw strikes, and look, who gets the credit there? It's probably Mark Pryor. Mark Pryor probably turned Hanser Alberto into a serviceable reliever, but he is not paid to be a pitcher. He's not paid to be a mascot. He's paid to hit the baseball and be a versatile infielder. And if you look at his numbers in the month of August, a 492 OPS, hitting 200. If you look at before that, a 808 OPS in the month of July. And after he got that shot on his back, after he got that cortisone shot that really kind of helped him out, he really started to turn his season around, but now you're starting to see him struggle once again. And late in that game, you saw Miguel Vargas. And Miguel Vargas will be starting in left field tomorrow. And tonight, Miguel Vargas, he did strike out, went 0 for 1, but I'm very interested to see what he can do. Of course, a lot of you have been asking me about James Outman, who, James, you can't get him out, man, and if he's going to get a chance. But let's jump back into this comment section. Alberto got good control. Eric Flores, this team is absolutely capable of winning it all. No question about it. Nothing tonight or in the last couple of games has changed any of that. Look, let's not forget, the Dodgers lost 10 of 11 games to the Mets in 1988, and what happened? They beat the mighty Mets, just as Tommy Lasorda in the 1988 NLCS. But WB, no rest for the wicked. Slumping isn't okay. They're too good to be slumping. That's from WB. Hey, Anthony Keene, schedule loss, been on a rough run, no big deal. Anthony Keene, I'm a big fan of the schedule loss. And like I said, we don't make excuses. We just give explanations. I don't want to give this team too much. I don't want to make too many excuses for this team, but you did have a hungry Padres team come in here. And the bottom line is, this is a necessary evil for Dustin May. He's not going to just come out and shove every single outing and have pinpoint command. This is part of the process of seeing him get back into the mix and find his rhythm on the mound. And they're going to need it. So I'll take a loss to the Padres where Dustin May didn't quite have his command so he can continue on this process of getting him to where he needs to be for the stretch run. Because Dustin May is going to have to step up big for this Dodgers rotation in October. He has the one guy that can be a flamethrower, can miss bats, can hit triple-digit heat. They just don't have that dynamic from anyone else in their rotation. You don't see that from guys like Tony Gonsolin, Julio Urias, and Clayton Kershaw, and Andrew Heaney, but Dustin May definitely is capable of that. So I'm fine with a rough outing if it means he continues on that process to getting to where the Dodgers need him to be. But DFA Gallo, that's from Careless Whisper. Look, Gallo, he did have an 0 for 19 stretch, but he was able to get the Dodgers only RBI tonight. He goes 1 for 4. He ends up getting that RBI there in the bottom of the ninth. So hopefully that'll turn things around for Joey Bombs. But Muncy hasn't played well since his extension. Neil Casamoto. Look, I gotta get the numbers on that. Maybe this Sunday I'll be back. We'll be doing a show Sunday. So we'll take a look at that. But I don't think that's that. I'm telling you, I've talked to Max Muncy. This guy no one lives and breathes baseball more than Max Muncy. I asked all the players what they want to do, what they would be doing if they weren't a baseball player. And he's the only guy that said, I'd be a baseball coach because baseball is in my blood. So I don't think that's the case when it comes to Max Muncy. And also just look at the month of August. He had a 906 OPS for the month of August after having a 597 OPS in July. You saw the adjustment that he made where he does the step back, and I still believe in Max Muncy. Defense not worth $17 million annually. That is from, I want to give you credit here. What's funny? Justin Lamas says Mickey Mouse Bubble fake champions. The funny thing is, if you guys want to be mad at Justin Lamas, just know that he loves the Dodgers a lot, and he's a diehard Dodger fan. He's just not happy right now. So I feel your pain. Let it all out, man. But that's from Chris Sargoy over on Facebook that says that defense is not worth $17 million annually. And then you factor, if you're Cody Bellinger, how happy can you be about James Outman? Because James Outman, he can give you defense, quality defense, along with a much easier bat at the plate. easier bat-to-ball skills, a guy that can hit for contact better than Cody Bellinger at this stage of his career, but he can give you at a $700,000 per year rate. So, yeah, I do think that it's not even a hot take at this point to really say that, hey, maybe I think there's a chance the Dodgers do not tender a contract to Cody Bellinger, and it's crazy to think that we're even having this conversation considering the fact that this is a Rookie of the Year. This is a guy that's a multi-time All-Star. He's an MVP winner. He's had some of the most memorable moments in Dodgers franchise history, and for us to even be having that conversation, it tells you how far he has fallen as a player, and I hate having this conversation, but it's definitely something that will be considered by this Dodgers organization. Roger Kennard, what up, Roger, the Los Angeles Dodger? Good gosh, what to do with Cody Bellinger. Let's go Dodgers 2022. Roger, the Los Angeles Dodger. What do you guys think the Dodgers should do about Cody Bellinger? Do you think they should sit him? Do you want to see an outfield situation? I'm not entirely sold on Trey Thompson as a center fielder, or Chris Taylor has had his injury issues this season. It doesn't look like he's at 100%. Sometimes he can look a little clunky out in center field. And the bottom line is you have the DH. So you do have that extra batter. So you can withstand having Cody Bellinger struggle at the plate and just kind of hope that he turns it around while taking advantage of his elite defense. So that's something you want to consider as well. But Pods greater than signed Dodgers. Chris, 1, 2, 3. How do you figure that? I mean, were they better than the Dodgers tonight? Sure, but let's not kid ourselves. The Padres are still little brother. The Padres, it was still body slam Diego when they faced off in the 2020 2020. Oh, did I say Padres and World Series in the same sentence? That must have been a Freudian slip because that hasn't happened in a long time since Padres versus Yankees back in the day. But yeah, the Dodgers are 20-9 versus the Padres since the start of the 2020 season. Now they're actually 20-10 against the Padres since the start of the 2020 season. They've taken 8 of 11 this season, and 17 of 20 against the Padres in LA. So they haven't dropped a season series against the Padres since 2010, and the 11 plus years without dropping a series to the Padres, the Dodgers are 138-71, including a 74-34 record at Dodger Stadium. LA is 35-13 against NOS teams this season. So do you want to take back that comment where you said Padres greater than signed Dodgers? Because I just gave you some facts there, and basically if you look at how this Dodger team has dominated the Padres, it'll tell you that that statement was absolutely incorrect. Don't make the Dodgers body slam Diego once again. Sad Diego. It's all love though. Hey man, you know, sometimes little brother just wants some action, okay? Outman is in, man. Trace Gallo, that's a fire take. That's a winning take.
You win.
Hey, man, that's a winning take. That makes me want to celebrate by chugging a crisp and refreshing Jim Beam Highball Seltzer. Please drink responsibly. Bellinger is going to get non-tender next season. No way the Dodgers pay him and Boris $19 million next season. Moose 1032. Yeah, there's almost an indictment on the whole arbitration system when you consider the fact that it puts a player in a position where, yes, you're not going to pay him less than he was earning at that $17 million rate, but when you do have a player that for whatever reason, whether it be trying to recover from injury or trying to make his way back or just falling down in a bad slump, yeah, it puts him in a tough spot. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think, and I just hope that Bellinger's not going to put too much pressure on himself down the stretch to try to make it all back. But 6 before 2020, Mr. Walnut Hero says, I don't care as much when Dodgers lose on the road, but can't be losing like that in front of the loyal paying fans. That's from Mr. Walnut. Yeah, I mean, we got Justin Lamas. Whoa, San Diego won by slugging 3 home runs. This team can't even slug. That's from Justin Lamas. So, yeah, I think it's crazy too. It's crazy too if you look at this game. Yes, Dustin May does give up the 2 home runs, but the Dodgers were in a situation where Heath Hembry, he was 1 strike away from keeping it at a 4-run game, and then we saw what happened, a 3-run bomb there by Anderson Profar, Jurickson Profar, a 3-run bomb there, a home run in the top of the 6th inning. By the way, I think Jurickson Profar is the Patrick Beverly of Major League Baseball. Do you agree with that comparison? But Profar, hey, man, a curveball, just kind of down the middle, kind of timed it right, kind of hanging right there, left it out over the middle of the plate. And, yeah, he hit it for a blast. And, yeah, look, when you out-homer your opponent in Major League Baseball, that is the recipe for success. You win games at a 78% clip when you out-homer your opponent. And, yeah, to me, what's my saying? If you want the dub, you've got to slug. And tonight, the Dodgers, they didn't slug, and the Padres did, and the Dodgers were on the losing side. But here we go. We got May was out. May was out there like Ricky Vaughn tonight. That's from Anthony King. Yeah, it was his dunk. I call it their dunk tank game, where it's like if you're on a dunk tank and he's on the mound, you're going to end up very dry. And that was the situation tonight. But yeah, I mean, there were some really great moments there. I mean, those 5 punch-outs, I've been very impressed with the way he's been landing his curveball and using that as a weapon, getting that over and striking that curveball. And also, he is using that four-seam fastball, and he's elevating it. He's getting swing and miss at the top of the zone. Dustin May wasn't doing that in 2020. He was relying heavily on that two-seam fastball, and you're seeing him use that four-seam fastball up in the zone. So I think that was definitely a bright spot. And, yeah, just about shoring up that command. It's about taking the film of this game and just really looking at spots where you have to attack hitters differently. And I think Dustin May is going to be just fine. I think this is all part of the process. But if you want to talk about this team not being able to slug, they're 5th in all of Major League Baseball with 170 home runs this season. If you look at slugging percentage, the Dodgers, they lead all of Major League Baseball with a .446 slugging percentage. Remember, guys, it's important to bring your facts to the fight. There's a lot of these shows, they just say things and blah, 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 and they don't back it up. But I'm telling you, that's just not true. That is not factual. The Dodgers have been able to slug, and I think that, Muncy 0 for 30. Interesting. Don't know where that comes from. Fire Roberts now. LOL. No worries. Going to be all right. That's from Mitch Master over on YouTube. Matty Man 5 Dodge. Hanser is cool, but he won't be on the postseason roster. I definitely think it's trending towards that. I don't think that his bat-to-ball skills that they hoped that he would have were by the way, yeah, this is a good stat here from Stats by Stats. The Dodgers lost to the Padres 7-1 tonight, snapping LA's streak of 228 consecutive regular season games without losing by more than 5 runs. That streak was 80 games longer than any other such streak in MLB history. Next longest, the 148 by the Pirates from 79 to 80. So hey, man, this team, they've stayed in it, and they haven't avoided the blowout losses. I love that. But Michael Jack D-Mac rules. I just want to say Michael Jack rules too, my man. Thanks for rocking with us. Call up Bush. That's from Jamie Lannister. Ray Barsimeon. Bigford looks solid. Yeah, I think Bigford, what you like about Phil Bigford is the fact that he can give you multiple innings of relief. And tonight, Phil Bigford, he ends up going 2 innings, had 4 strikeouts in those 2 innings, allowed a walk, allowed a hit. But yeah, Phil Bigford is a guy that the home runs have been an issue for Phil Bigford this season, but you are starting to see that, he has corrected some things mechanically. You're seeing him avoid the heart of the plate, and that's been kind of one of his big issues. But, last couple starts, save for the first outing against the Marlins where he gave those first appearance against the Marlins, where he gave those 2 earned runs. He's put together some pretty solid appearances. But, for the month of August, a 5.02 ERA, 5.91 ERA in July. Really just hasn't been his year, and his big kryptonite this season has been keeping the ball in the yard. But here we go. Dodgers over Astros in 7. That's from Ray Barsimeon. Orlando, I'm ready for when the kids get to play. Orlando, Jamie Lannister. Bush is 24 and raking in AAA. I think he's ready. J Kid 323, but Tommy Lasorda was a motivator of men. Roberts is not. They're different. They're very different. And definitely, I've been in that clubhouse, and I can tell you firsthand that this team across the board is in lockstep with Dave Roberts. And what you saw that conversation that Max Muncy was having with Dave Roberts and Oral Hershiser pointed out during the broadcast that, look, most of the time when you're a sub-200 hitter, you're on the end of the bench and you're criticizing the manager. You're talking ill of the manager. Instead, I think one of his biggest gifts, Dave Roberts, is his ability to stay loyal and believe in guys even during their slumps. And that's why you've seen guys like Max Muncy and Justin Turner turn their seasons around, because he believes in his guys. And that is another way of really helping your players really get through the ebbs and flows of a 162-game regular season. But here we go. Padres fans have been hot. Padres bats have been hot. Saw this coming. That is from Mr. Walnut. We got to Outman, Book It, Boomer Assassin. May's two-seamer is crucial to his success, WB. It absolutely is crucial to his success because you see that horizontal movement. I say it moves more than a military family, but the issue tonight, and we'll break it down in just a second, is the home runs. Let's go jump to the top of the third inning there. 0-2 count. He punches out Profar with a curveball low and away for the first out. And then a 3-2 count to Soto. He misses inside and walks Soto for the second time of the night. So he was doing a little bit of nibbling against Juan Soto, and I think with May, one of the keys too is he has to trust his stuff. He has to control the zone. He has to pound the zone, and against Soto tonight, he wasn't doing that. The next batter, Manny Machado, 1-0 count. He hits a 2-run shot to left, and that was on that two-seam fastball that you're mentioning right there. Caught too much of the plate. That made it 2-0 Padres. So that walk to Soto, it comes back to burn May, and then he comes back to strike out Josh Bell on 3 pitches. Got him looking at a changeup for strike 3 for the second out. And then next batter, first pitch, he hits Jake Cronenworth with a cutter that ran in on him. So that was another issue today. Hitting batters, hit 2 batters today, and that gave the Padres a runner on first with 2 outs, and Brandon Drury at the plate. And Drury, he's really struggled after being traded to the Padres. A sub-200 batting average, really hasn't been the guy that they hoped he would be, the guy that was raking for the Reds all season long. Well, he goes up there, and on the 3-2 pitch, he hits another 2-run home run. That made it 4-0 Dodgers, and it was another sinker that May left out over the plate. So what did you see in that inning? You saw 1, leaving sinkers out over the plate, and 2, the walks coming back to burn him, hitting batters coming back to burn him. So you're okay with solo shots at times with some of these pitchers, but it's just having the walks and hitting batters and little errors like that, those unforced errors really coming back to bite you, and it did that there in that third inning. And then he ends up striking out Grisham with an elevated 4-seam fastball for the third out. So even in the innings where he struggled tonight with the command, you still saw a lot of positive, a lot of things to be encouraged by. And like I said, elevated 4-seam fastball against Grisham. You saw him strike out Bell with that changeup, and you saw him strike out Profar with that curveball. So he ends up striking out the side in that inning where he gives up the 2 home runs. So there were some encouraging signs for Dustin Mania, but let's jump back into the comment section. Vincent, hey D-Mac, I'm going to Mays bobblehead night on the 22nd. The boys will be playing the D-backs. By the way, the D-backs, they've won 7 of their last 8 games. Don't look now, but here come the Snakes. No, but will they have clinch by then, or will by then, or will that came the clinch? I don't know, but we said there, but yeah, no, it won't happen then. It depends. I got to look at the schedule, but it's going to be a great bobblehead. It's one of the best ones I've seen this whole year. But love Bellinger, but he should play in Miami from Eric Flores. We got Outman. He is a spark plug for excitement from Ray Barsimi. Let's jump back down here to these comments. Better to stink in September than choke in October. That's a great comment. I'll give you this one.
You win.
Ringworm earned for San Diego. Hey, man, I love that. That's a fire take.
Fire take.
And a finish him.
Finish him.
Yeah, man, that's what I was saying with Fernando Tatis Jr. I don't know why he was even trying to get rid of that ringworm, because that's the only ring he's going to get while he's in San Diego. But here we go, Padres like weed and boys. Richard, May like Kershaw just getting his boots on. There you go. That's a great way to put it, too. And you see him roll into the games with those boots, with that the man with the mane, that big red hair. And, yeah, I think tonight it's a learning process. He's still trying to get the feel back for all of his pitches. And I think that was the issue tonight. Didn't quite have the feel for that 2-seam fastball, for that cutter early, and that was the issue. And you combine that with the fact that the Padres bats have been pretty hot of late, and they had a really nice plan, and they weren't offering at some of those pitches on the edges, on the black, and the plate discipline was there. They weren't expanding the strike zone against Dustin May, and they were laying off those two-seamers on the edge. But here we go. If we can't hit Sean Manaea tomorrow, we are in trouble. Andrew Gaines. Yeah, I mean, I think I could probably get a single off Sean Manaea this season, so I think they'll be fine. Profar, LOL, enough said. That's from Orlando. Outman will replace Belly sooner than later. That's from that one girl, Azu. We got Belly, Mr. Belly. He's good, fam. We good. Ready to blast from JD Krill ZXX. JT is turning up from Joe Def. Yeah, Justin Turner, if he can stay healthy, this is a guy that you trust in the postseason. This is a guy that you want at the plate in a big situation. Just ask John Lackey and the Chicago Cubs in 2017. He's a guy, just ask this team has really been he's been one of the most clutch players for this Dodger team. So yeah, if he's right, I mean, he had his big moments there in 2020 as well. So yeah, if you look at his numbers, an 815 OPS in August, and then so far he was 2 for 2 in the Mets series with a double, and you're starting to see the extra base hits start to pile up. And let's not forget, I think one of the most underrated home runs. I mean, you saw him get to Charlie Morton there in that World Series too. So great home run stat, D-Mac. Hey, thanks, Michael Jack. D-Mac, don't forget about that 7-homer night for the Angels and still lost, LOL. Isaac Lopez Johansson. Yeah, of course, there's going to be some glitches in the Matrix for sure. But, yeah, I mean, more often than not, yeah, if you out-homer your opponent, you're going to have success, and you really put yourself in a position to win that game. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, that was a pretty crazy game there, and in early August. But here we go. Taylor was great today. Literally never got out. Yeah, Chris Taylor, I think that's going to be something to definitely pay attention to down the stretch. Can Chris Taylor find a groove? I mean, we're talking about how this Dodger team has been struggling of late. I mean, I don't even want to call it that. It's the first time they've lost 3 in a row since almost 3 months ago against the San Francisco Giants. The Dodgers, their longest losing streak this season was 4 games back in May. Remember, they lost that game to the Pirates, and then they lost 3 straight games to the Phillies before Gavin Lux hit that Lux capacitor and was Gavin clutch and hit that walk-off shot in a game where he actually struggled. But yeah, I think Chris Taylor is a guy that, you're always concerned too about his injury status. He took one right in the top of the hand, a lot of small bones there. Thankfully, he appears to be okay. He's tough as nails. He is a gamer, and this guy is like an elevator. He goes up, he goes down, but hopefully he is going to be fine. But I think tonight the bright spot was the fact that he gets 3 walks. Drew 3 walks tonight. You saw he's making an effort to be more disciplined at the plate, so that's definitely a positive sign. So let's go Dodgers for that. CB, he is done. We got Don't Panic. That's from JD. 6 p.m. start time from me, Rojo. Yeah, 6 p.m. start time. And look, tomorrow you got college football. Maybe the Dodgers are thinking, hey, NFL's coming. Let's just give up 7 runs. No, I'm just playing. But the Carnivorous Lunar Activity, my guy, my man. Hello, D-Mac and Dodgers Nation. What up, Carnivorous Lunar Activity? Yeah, by the way, thanks to all you guys for rocking with us here on a Friday night here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. A little DN After Dark here. AM, thanks for $10, man. That's going towards Trey Turner's contract extension. Hanser Alberto, like 2 of my homegirls' bikini pics, he needs to get his head in the game and off the biddies. AM, hey, man, you know I'm like Ron Burgundy. I read things without even reading them first, but that's hilarious. Chris Taylor getting $12 million to strikeouts from Justin Lamas. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm always trying to find the positives here. There's no question about it. But, yeah, look, he is Chris Taylor. He is swing and miss Chris. He is CT 3 strikes, you're out. Make no mistake about it. But we also saw him struggle last season when he was hitting 187 the final couple months of the season before Taylor happened. Before Taylor, he was 8 for his last 72 before he hit that walk-off shot. So let's not forget about Chris Taylor. Let's not discount what he can do in a big spot. But, yeah, the numbers don't lie. A 36.7% K rate, and that's a very high strikeout rate. You compare it to last season, to give you a little context, last season he had a 28.7 strikeout rate, so that's up almost 10%. And he's a guy that already struck out a lot higher than league average, and yeah, he's in like the 0 percentile when it comes to strikeout rate, and that's definitely not good. A lot of it's a boom or bust for CT3. But Drury hits bombs from Jesus over on YouTube. Yeah, remember he was hitting bombs early in the year for the Reds against the Dodgers. I think he hit one off of David Price, if I'm not mistaken. But Dodgers need our softball uniform on tomorrow. Craig Osterberg, you want to see the who threw the inflatable PEDs? Yeah, Gene Flores. That was a little dig at Fernando Tatis Jr. Dodger fans like to have some fun, so I thought that was pretty hilarious. I gotta drop that upload pretty soon. But yeah, that was pretty hilarious. But A lot of guys are compensating and complacent. They'll straighten up. That's from Stan, the Rams fan. Yeah, look, when you consider the fact that they are giving guys rest, the fact that you see Heath Hembree out there, but how about the good news today that the Dodgers have activated Blake Trinan? The Dodgers activated Blake Trinan, and he was placed on the injured list on April 17th, and yeah, it'll be his first appearance. His next appearance will be his first one since April 14th. He made 7 rehab appearances with AAA OKC. He tossed 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 8 hits with 9 punch-outs. And with the Dodgers this year, he's made only 3 appearances this season, going 1-1 with a 3 ERA and 5 punch-outs and no walks. He's in his 3rd season with the Dodgers. He's gone a combined 9-10 with a 2.50 ERA, 112 punch-outs in 102 games with the Dodgers. So, yeah, I mean, they did DFA Jake Reed, who was able to at least get his first career save against the Mets. But to have Blake Trinan back, who last season he really reestablished himself as a top 10 reliever in all of Major League Baseball. He was their top high-leverage fireman reliever that you could throw in any situation with men on base and get you out of the innings. And that's going to be massive, because if he can replicate the success that he had last season, if he can look like the guy he did during his time with the Dodgers, that's going to change everything for the back end of this Dodgers bullpen. I think you will see some saves from Blake Trinan. He got 7 saves last season. For all you Dodger fans out there that are scared to death when it comes to seeing Craig Kimbrel, who I just don't think, if Craig Kimbrel's not the closer, I just don't see a role for him. I think it's either you're a closer or you get DFA'd. I don't think there's anything in between for Craig Kimbrel, and if he can't figure things out, maybe he doesn't find his way on this postseason roster, because I don't see Craig Kimbrel as a guy with his command issues, with his penchant for giving up hits like he has. He's giving up so many hits, like I said, it would make Ryan Seacrest and Casey Kasem jealous with all the hits that he's seen this season go off bats from balls that he's thrown. And I think if you're Craig Kimbrel, you're in a situation where if you can't prove yourself down the stretch here, it's going to be tough to get a spot in this Dodgers bullpen if everyone comes back healthy. If you see Tommy Kahnle, if you, of course, see Brusdar Graterol, maybe even Danny Duffy, because, yeah, he just doesn't make sense as a setup man. Just look at last season. He had a .49 ERA with the Cubs. Then he gets traded to the other team in Chicago, the White Sox, and he had an ERA over 5, and that was mainly in that setup role where he was setting up for Hendricks. So, yeah, I just don't see how it could work out. So we're going to find out very quickly here how good Blake Trinan looks. But look, the velocity's there, the movement's there. He's as filthy as ever, and I'm very excited to see Blake Trinan back on the mound for the Dodgers. But here you go, old loopy number 3. Keep in mind we faced 3 really good pitchers in a row. That's from Mark A. That's a great point. I'm not going to lose sight of that. They got DeGrom-inated. You saw Chris Bassett tonight. Yu Darvish, he was on his game. So, yeah, they did see 3 good pitchers in a row, but that's kind of been one of the big question marks this season. Will the Dodgers be able to have success with their offense against some of these elite pitchers? And, yes, they put together big offensive performances against some of the better stars in the league. Sandy Alcantara, the first time they faced him and at Dodger Stadium, they had their way with him, but they were also dominated by Sandy in the second meeting in Miami, and then they really just, other than Mookie Betts' home run, they couldn't hit sand if they fell off a camel against DeGrom. So, yeah, it's definitely something to monitor. You've seen Freddie cool off a little bit. Trey Turner's in a little bit of a mini slump. Will Smith's in a little bit of a mini slump. So they were really clicking and firing on all cylinders. And now this offense, like I said, last 5 games averaging just a little over 2 runs per game. But players will be rested tomorrow. That's from EB. Yeah, look, you come home from a road trip, you go to the cleaners, you run some errands, everyone hits you up, and you sleep in your own bed, so you're like really tired. And I think tomorrow they're going to want to come back and they're going to want to take 2 of 3 from this Padres team and really get back on track to where they were. But, yeah, let's jump into the 4th inning. Jump into the 5th inning for Dustin May. D-May struck out Manny Machado. He got him swinging with a fastball, a 4-seam fastball, elevated, did a nice little strut around the mound, and that's when I think that Dustin May was like, hey, man, I have a lot of confidence in this 4-seam fastball, and I think if the 2 things I look at with Dustin May tonight, are the success he had with that curveball, landing at 4 strikes, getting that swing and miss, getting the punch outs with it, and also his confidence with that 4-seam fastball continues to grow, and that's definitely a very encouraging sign because, like I said, that is something that's going to play up in the postseason because, look, the sticky stuff era is over, but he still has some of the best spin in the game, so very excited about that. And then he gets Bell to line to center for the second out, and then he gets Cronenworth to ground to second for the third out. So his only 1-2-3 inning of the night comes in the top of the 5th. He comes back there in the 6th, and then he hits Drury with the breaking ball, and on a 3-2 pitch, he walks Grisham, and that was it for D. May. And, of course, those 2 runners end up scoring on the home run by Profar on that hanging curveball by Heath Hembry. So, really, Dodgers give up the 3 home runs. Dustin may struggle with command, but a couple more comments here, and I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. But thanks for rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. Like I said, Sunday Night Baseball is going to be really a must-see game. I mean, you always got to watch Dodgers-Padres, a 4:08 first pitch. And, I had an interview with Alden Gonzalez, MLB insider for ESPN. I'm going to drop that tomorrow. We talked about re-signing Trey Turner. Will the Angels trade Shohei Ohtani in the offseason? Will Artie Moreno sell the Angels? What does that mean for the Dodgers? Also, if they're unable to re-sign Trey Turner, will they pivot to trying to sign some of the other premium shortstops that are available? The Carlos Correas, the Bogarts, the Dansby Swanson, so be on the lookout for that tomorrow morning. But WB, all jokes aside, bro, Belly deserves all the criticism. That is from Jamie Lannister. Yeah, what more can you say when it comes to Cody Bellinger? The reality is he's inconsistent, Cody, and it's getting harder and harder to defend the guy. I mean, if you look at his numbers, this is not a fluke. This is not a trend. And this is not a fluke. This is just who he is, man. This is just who he is at this stage of his career. He just has not gotten it done at the plate for a long period of time. Like I said, a sub-700 OPS. And, I mean, if you look at his numbers, he's close to 500. His last 474 at-bats, he's hitting 195. So, I mean, you can live with 240 with Bellinger and elite defense as long as he's slugging and getting doubles and home runs, but yeah, he just hasn't been able to produce enough. But bats have gone cold. Will Belly figure it out? That's from Rain in 99. That's something that I struggle with. I just don't have the answer to that question. You hope he does. He's a homegrown talent that is one of the biggest fan favorites still to this day. If you go to a Dodger game, they announce the starting lineups, you'll hear Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. They all get great cheers, but once they announce Cody Bellinger, the whole crowd, he gets the same amount of cheers as the big 3. So, yeah, a lot of Dodger fans are pulling for him, but yeah, his struggles at the plate, he just hasn't been able to figure things out, and you just hope that at some point he's going to be a little more receptive to the hitting coaches, to the Bards of the world, and to this coaching staff that has really helped guys out. I mean, just look at Max Muncy. He is going through it. What does he do? He completely revamps that approach at the plate where you see him more aggressive against pitches in the zone, also added that step back so it allows him to get behind balls, allows him to catch up to fastballs, and Cody Bellinger really just seeing the same thing. I mean, you saw him choke up a little bit, but really I think it's about him being completely late on fastballs, and yeah, I think that he's one of the easiest hitters to attack in the league. I mean, everyone knows what he's trying to do at the plate, and it's definitely unfortunate because the guy has a lot of talent, and you know it's in there somewhere, and we've seen it. And when he flashes big time. And look, let's not forget, he was the Dodgers' second best hitter last year in the postseason. He had a 907 OPS, and that was second to only Chris Taylor. So here we go. Dude, Jay Hare just went off on Cody. Why won't he change his swing? Dave Luna. Look, Dave Luna, I've been saying it for months now. Jay Hare's been saying it for 3 days. Okay, so, here we go. I need some ducking pizza. But here we go. A couple more here, and we'll let you guys out. Here we go. Ford all day over on YouTube. D-Mac, you need to call the Dodgers and ask them on behalf of us fans, WTF is going on. Ford all day. I'll do this the second this show ends. And, I got you, man. I'll call 1-800-DODGERS. I think that's their number, but absolutely, my man. Here we go. Eric Flores, any concern we dropped to the second seed in the National League? Well, you know what I always say, never say never. And you definitely I'm a big believer in never say never. I mean, just look at the Yankee team that, I mean, they had a double-digit lead in the NL East. Now they're only 5 games up on the Rays in the NL East. So anything can happen in baseball. You still got 30-plus games to play, or what? A little over 30 games to play. But I think the Dodgers, they're going to be just fine. I think I'm not overly concerned with that. I mean, if you look at their lead right now, still have a 6-game lead over the Mets. And that's a pretty comfortable cushion. But, they do go on a slide, and let's say they get swept by this Padres team. The Mets continue to win. That goes down to 3 games. Yeah, anything can happen. And down the stretch, the Dodgers, they do play the Giants. They play the Padres. They play the Rockies 5 games at the end. They still play the Cardinals. So there is some pretty – you got the division competition, and division rivals are always going to try to – give it their best against the Dodgers and do whatever they can, but I still see this team. Look, my preseason prediction was 107 wins, and I'm not saying I want them to lose, but hey, if they lose enough games for my prediction to be right, I'll feel good about it. No, but I think this team is going to be just fine. I think there's no reason to be concerned at this point, but hey, the Mets, they're in, look, everyone was talking about the NL West before this season with the Dodgers and the Giants and the Padres, but really it turned out to be the NL East as far as which has been the most competitive division with the Mets and the Braves and the Phillies, and the Braves are still 3 games back on the Mets, so the Mets are going to continue to want to play winning baseball to hold them off because they don't want to face the Dodgers in the DS. They want to face the Dodgers in the NLCS so they can set up their rotation. But here we go, win or adios. That's from Stan the Rams fan. Friday night from Jonathan Morin. A couple more here, guys. Let's do some walk-off shots. Let's walk it off. Who's going to walk it off for us? Many thanks, D-Mac. Only the best city of champions. We appreciate it. Thanks, Sonny. I appreciate it. Thanks for rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. Nuff said, still sad we lost Max from Pat Nelson. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice, but, hey, man, Stephen Cohen, he was spending money like a drunk sailor, $130 million for Max Scherzer, and his arm passed away, and it came back to life miraculously just to sign that contract. But hey, he made a business decision, and I still feel like there's some. I don't want to say there's bad blood, but look, I think Max Scherzer, I would have liked to see him go in there in Game 6 because what happened? Walker Buehler goes second time going on short rest. Did that impact his arm after throwing more innings than any pitcher in all of Major League Baseball last season? His arm was taxed. Did that contribute to him going down with an injury? We'll never know, but it definitely wasn't a good thing. Let's just put it that way. Thanks, D-Mac. Thanks, Ford, all day. The dog days of September. That's from Craig Osterberg. Love you, Blue Crew. D-Mac needs to coach. Kevin, hey, man, get me in there, man. Let's do it. LA win. Bats are cold. Elite pitching. Yeah. 107 looking about right from Jonathan Morin. Trade Bellinger for Kyrie. Trades Gallo. What are we talking about? But, hey, why not? Later, D-Mac. Later, EB. D-Mac, our best player tonight. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for rocking with us. Dude, don't want trolls messing up your stream. Yeah, I'll work on that. It's all good. The Padres fan, they don't realize this. They're putting money in the bank for me, and the more Padres trolls I have, the more money we get, and all that money, I don't even take a profit. I put it all in a jar and I send it right to Andrew Friedman, and I say, hey, use this for players, use this for Trey Turner, use this for free agent acquisitions, guys. I'm all about trying to get these dubs, so hey, the joke is on them. But Freeman 2022 NL MVP, that's from WB. Like, I think Goldschmidt, if you look at the year he's having, that's going to be tough to catch Goldie. I mean, he's had such a fantastic season. I just don't see that happening. But hey, Freeman, to me, he's been as better than advertised, really, for this Dodgers team. He's been a little quiet of late, but the hits are still there. The power is a little down when you look at the home runs. But yeah, he still has been one of the best players in baseball. And yeah, like I said, he's been better than advertised when you consider $27 million for Freddie Freeman. He's going to be the next guy they're going to try to give some rest to, and we'll see if they're going to be able to accomplish that. But yeah, a couple more here, guys. We got their Trey put in the bank. But yeah, guys, thanks for rocking with us. A couple more here. We got Hawthorne in the house. Dodgers should pay the vendors. They protest for low wages. Hey, for sure, man. D-Mac smoking that Padres fan pack. Yeah, Dodgers signed D-Mac, new closer. Hey, if you put me with Mark Pryor, I think I can do a pretty adequate job. But we'll find out. But hey, if I'm a closer, who's going to do the postgame show? You know what I'm saying? But yep, guys, as always, thanks for rocking with us here after the Dodgers. They take their first 3-game losing streak, their first loss by more than 5 runs all season long, but they're going to have a chance to get back on track tomorrow with Julio Urias, the Urias on the mound, going up against Sean Manaea. Julio's been the Dodgers' best starter this season. He is the ace of the staff this year, and I think that he's going to do just fine and get this team back on track and give them a chance to win. They just need this Dodgers offense to wake up, because this Dodgers offense has been on a milk box missing of late, but hopefully they turn it around tomorrow. Then also, look, how about an ESPN Sunday Night Baseball game on Sunday where the Dodgers are 3-0 on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball game? So hopefully just being on that stage, that'll wake them up a little bit. But thanks for rocking with us, guys, here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. Can you say hi to Levy? What up, Levy? But anytime, guys. Urias will save us. We generally play better at our second home at Dodger Stadium South. Carnivorous lunar activity. But yeah, thanks, guys. As always, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. And if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
It's time